Okay, see two birds on the koa there? Today, we're tracking Akis. Aloha! My name is Alex Wong and I'm an ornithologist that works for the Natural Area Reserve Program for the State Division of Forestry and Wildlife.
Hi, I'm Jessica Loeffler, and I'm the Kupu Service Member with the Natural Area Reserve System.
Aloha kako, my name is Brett Noah Mossman, and I'm the Pacific Cooperative Studies Unit Ornithological Technician at Hawaii Island NARS. And one of the main reasons we're out here studying the ʻAkiapolaʻau is so that we can learn more about their natural history and how they interact with the environment and the forest so that we can better manage the area and hopefully increase the population of this critically endangered bird.
To track ʻAkiapolaʻau with radio transmitters, we put these little backpacks on the birds. These transmitters are pretty small and don't have a very big impact on the bird's day-to-day movements. They weigh less than 3% of the bird's body weight, actually. Also, these transmitters have a biodegradable weak link sewn into the harness that wraps around each leg. So we put in a little section of rubber band that'll degrade over time, and eventually the transmitter will fall off. Generally, the transmitter battery life lasts for 3 to 4 months, so we can ideally track the bird for a season.
We use radio telemetry units to find our ʻAkiapolaʻau. So here's what it looks like. So we raise our hands as high as we can to get the best signal, and we spin around to find where the signal is coming from. When you find the bird, you'll find that the closer you are, the louder the beeps will get, and there will be more beeps on the transmitter. You can also change the gain. So once you're close enough to them, you can lower the gain to find and pinpoint their exact location.
This is the radio receiver we use to track birds. The display screen shows us which bird we're tracking and how close we are to the bird we're looking for.
When I was tracking for a female Aki, the receiver kept taking me towards one tree. I searched around in circles and in circles and in circles, and I couldn't get my eyes on her. So I found a comfy spot in the grass nearby, and I sat and observed the tree I believed she was in. I heard her male singing nearby, and that's when I saw her fly out from the nest. It was the top canopy of a koa tree, and it was very hard to spot, but in the right angles you could see it. I watched the male feed her, and she did the cutest little happy dance, and then she flew back into the nest to incubate her eggs.
So we use the data that we collect looking at the different movements of the birds so that we can figure out their exact area that they use for their home ranges. And so this gives us some really good information about what the minimum area that Akis need to survive. And so in our active reforestation areas that we have within the Pu'u Maka'ala Natural Air Reserve, we can then figure out how many birds we could potentially fit in those newly reforested areas as our koa plantings start to grow out. So this is really important because it will inform how we can get more birds in the landscape and really increase the population of this critically endangered bird within the areas that Hawaii Island NARS manages.
The Hawaiian honey creepers got to Hawaii millions of years ago. They're all descendants of one common ancestor, some type of finch. Currently, there's a species called the common rose finch in Asia that's very similar to our house finch in North America, and we believe that the Hawaiian honey creepers all descended from an ancestor that was most like that common rose finch. This is called an adaptive radiation. When these birds came to Hawaii, they all found different niches. So a niche is just like, they all have a different way of living. So the ʻAki has this really cool bill and it acts kind of like a woodpecker, prying caterpillars and beetle larvae out of trees. The ʻAkiapolaʻau have little crossed bills that they can, when they open their bill, it pries open ohia buds, the liko, and they take out little insects like psyllids out of there. And things like the iiwi are nectivorous, where they have really long bills, good for going into flowers and drinking nectar. So the ʻAki is one of these, just one of the many honey creepers we have left, a really specialized one, and unfortunately super endangered, and now there are not very many left.
ʻAkiapolaʻau are a particularly significant honey creeper because they're one of the only surviving members of the heterobill group of the honey creepers. There used to be a species found on each island on Kauai, Maui, and Oahu, but those three species are now extinct, and only the ʻAki, which lives only on the Big Island, survives. A heterobill is a type of bill where the bird will have a much longer portion and a shorter portion, and in the case of the ʻAki, they have a very long curved upper bill and then a short stout lower bill that kind of works as an awl. And this is really significant because ʻAki are the only perching bird on the entire planet that have developed this type of bill, and so it's incredibly unique to Hawaii, and it's only found on Hawaii Island. And something that is also really interesting is the ʻAki, like many of our other honey creepers, have very unique songs and calls based on where you find them on the island. So our unique population that live in Hakalau have a different song than the birds that we have here in Pu'u Maka'ala.
Within our Hawaiian honey creepers, some species have different foraging techniques. Some, like the ʻApapane and Palila, forage widely, going to where the resources are abundant at that time and place. In the case of ʻApapane, they follow the ohia lehua bloom. Others, like the ʻAkiapolaʻau or the Hawaii ʻElepaʻau, are territorial. They defend discrete territories year-round. The ʻAkiapolaʻau do this by the males will sing and guard the perimeter of their territories. By roaming around and defending the edges against other males, they identify that this area is theirs. Knowing this, we can put together home range size of multiple ʻAkiapolaʻau males and look at how they fit across the landscape. How many territories, which we can assume is a pair of birds, will fit in Pu'u Maka'ala NAR, and how many will fit in reforested areas as well.
This video was filmed in the Kulani Tract of Pu'u Maka'ala Natural Area Reserve. Kulani is a special rainforest on the slopes of Mauna Loa within the Ahupua'a of Waiakea on Hawaii Island, where koa reforestation has been happening for many years. This management benefits the ʻAkiapolaʻau as well as many other threatened and endangered species that call Kulani their home. The Natural Area Reserve System is a program of the State of Hawaii Department of Land and Natural Resources, Division of Forestry and Wildlife. The NAR's program focuses on ecosystem level management, providing the highest level of protection for public lands because the ecosystems in the reserves are Hawaii's most pristine native environments.